Ever start a card and realize the colors just don't work? That happened to me, but instead of starting over, I grabbed my cardstock swatches, found a better color combo, and saved the whole design. Hi everyone, this is Mindy Egan for Altenew, and this is my Inking It Up with Mindy series on the Altenew channel where you can find me here once a month. Now, let me share with you how and why I went from almost a disaster to saving my card project. One of the things I'm going to be focusing on or creating my scene around is using the Fireside Escape die set. So this is using the keyhole system. It is a layering die set. What I really love about this is that you have your fire pit is all the pieces are in one plate. There's no individual pieces for it as far as die cutting purposes. You have your chairs, they face in each direction, and then your fire. Now, here's what I mean. So all of the pieces were on one plate and they cut out into 3 separate pieces. So you would need to run that plate through 3 different times with 3 different shades of cardstock. Instead of gray tones, I decided to go with some warm brown tones for my fire pit. I have the lightest piece being the base, which is etched with a number 1. I added layer 2, which is a little bit darker, and then layer 3 is going to be the edge for our fire pit. Now, all of these supplies will be linked down below in the video description, and they will also be talked about and linked on the Altenew blog. Then we have our fire. So again, it is all on one die plate, but it cuts out 3 different layers that you layer together. There I did a light yellow, dark yellow, and an orange. And now we have our chairs. So when you die cut out the chairs, there's 2 different chairs that face in different directions. And I started by die cutting this. I think it was out of a ruby red cardstock. I really loved the thought of having that dark red chair, and I was thinking that I would go with a fall themed background. Now, this is going to completely change at the end, and I'll talk about that as my card progresses. But again, we're just using the keyhole layering system to line up all of our die cut pieces and put them in the proper order to layer together and create that amazing chair. And each of the pieces of cardstock does have a number etched on it, so you can easily figure out which layer goes next. Now, while I said at the beginning that I avoided total disaster, a little bit of an exaggeration, it's just that the colors, once the card came together, weren't sitting well with me. So after I kind of sat on it for a while, I had decided to change it off screen. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit more as I start finishing the card. Now, I have all of my pieces glued together. I love the way this is looking right now. And I'm back to creating a fall background. I'm bringing in one of my favorite stencils. This is the Strong Oak. I thought about having a large tree in the background, so it's kind of like you're sitting under a beautiful fall tree on a nice fall day. So I started ink blending. I'm going to quickly go through these layers because I really wanted to focus on putting the design together with that fireside escape scene. So I'm going through with some nice warm oranges. I'm not laying down a heavy amount of color. I just wanted the tree to be kind of tucked off on the side, making sure to leave room for my chairs and my fire pit. I believe all of the colors for my tree came from the Sun-Kissed Delight collection. And then I'm going to do my tree trunk with the Coffee Break selection. So just going through those different shades from lightest to darkest, adding all of that to create my tree now in the background, which turned out absolutely gorgeous because I love that stencil. I'm going to ground everything. So I'm just taking some Firefly ink, placing that down towards the bottom and then some sea glass towards the top, making sure not to overlap my stencil design so that my colors didn't clash. Now, as I placed my chair and my fire pit there, it wasn't sitting with me. It was too busy. Something just wasn't right. So I decided to kind of rein it all in a little bit. And I die cut out one of the nesting circles from a piece of white cardstock. So that kind of helped close things in a little bit and still see the tree. Now, again, I kind of sit and ponder with ideas before really going back to them and finishing them off. So in the meantime, I'm stamping my sentiment because I knew this was the sentiment that I wanted to use. This is from the Sweet Harvest collection. So I'm stamping it in obsidian ink. I'm die cutting it out with the coordinating die, and then I'm going to stack my die cut. So I die cut that out 2 more times from white cardstock and just going to layer that together with some liquid glue. Now I'm coming back to my scene. So the idea of it is to have this circle over the tree so it kind of rains in that design. And I wanted it popped up, so I'm placing some foam tape on the back of that panel. Now I have a silicone mat laid down there. And the reason for that is because as I wanted my tree to be in a certain area, which means that I needed to place my cardstock with the foam tape down a little bit. That means exposed adhesive is going to be on the back because of the foam tape. And if I were to do that on my glass mat, it would stick and ruin my cardstock. And I know that because I've done that. So I use the silicone mat. That foam adhesive does not stick to the silicone. And then I just trimmed off any excess with a large pair of scissors. And I'm adding this panel to an A2 size side folding card base. Now I'm going to start putting the scene together. So the design itself with that circle kind of over the tree, and I'm still showing the tree in the background. I love how that was. I layered down the chairs using a mix of liquid glue and foam tape, added my fire pit to the front there in the center, and then I'm going to place my sentiment up towards the top. So that part of the card was fine. What I didn't like, or what wasn't sitting well with me, is I felt like my chairs were sticking out like a sore thumb. I love the colors of everything, but it just didn't feel right. And so off screen, I die cut out the chairs once again. And this time I used Cloudy Sky. I love that shade of blue. I thought it matched a lot better. It was a little more muted for the design and for my tree in the background. And I literally just trimmed the legs off of the chairs and tucked them underneath the fire pit. So I did not have to recreate the entire card. I liked the design and I was able to still keep everything and just kind of alter it to what felt better for me. And how I landed on that color of cardstock was I have my cardstock all swatched out, which is what I should have done from the very beginning, is check the color of my tree with the color of cardstock for my chairs. It all worked out in the end, but I just wanted to share with you that you can change your design and change your mind along the way or even at the very end. Thank you all so much for joining today, and I hope this video inspires you to create.
Wait, we have more where that came from. If you're after fabulous card making tutorials, you are definitely in the right spot. Our amazing design team create and upload fabulous video tutorials right to this YouTube channel. If you don't want to miss another amazing crafting tutorial, don't forget to subscribe and click that fun red button that you can see. Let's become paper crafting experts together.